past few years, YouTube and TikTok prankers have really taken the internet by storm. And while many of these pranks started off by being harmless, they've evolved into so much more than that. Ever since TikTok became a thing, pranks have lost their harmless prank and funny meaning to really annoying and just so not funny to society. I want to dive into this topic more because lately there have been so many prank videos that I have come across, especially on TikTok, and I just want to roll my eyes at all of them because they're not funny. I believe they mostly cause disturbance to the public society. And I'm here to talk about it today. And I'm just kind of tired of how the internet has really rotten our youth brains because most of these pranks are being performed by teens, early 20 somethings, and just children in general. So, let's talk about internet prank culture and how it's just simply gone too far. Internet prank culture has truly taken a turn for the worse. What has used to be lighthearted, harmless pranks have evolved into things that are far more dangerous, a disturbance, and they're just simply mean-spirited. Oh, and sometimes the pranks that people pull are even illegal. Yeah, you heard that right. And it's just really annoying that a lot of these kids on the internet are doing this simply for clout. They are so desperate for views and engagement that they'll do anything for the shock, right? There's been so much pressure to go viral lately, and so they believe that annoying random strangers on the internet is the best way to go for them to have their super viral moment. And sometimes I find these pranks to not even be humor. Sometimes it can result into bullying, and pranks should be funny for both parties involved. If somebody feels like they were a victim to a prank and they're not finding that funny, then the prank fails and it just makes that person look like an asshole. I have seen time and time again from retail workers being humiliated and annoyed when they're just trying to do their job, people who mess with elderly folks, partners being terrible to their partners in the name of humor. And just sometimes these situations can put people in danger. And when they do get called out, they'll always say like, oh, it's just a prank, bro. Don't take it so seriously, bro. We're gonna talk about the overuse of the word bro later on in this video, trust me. Because of the shock value that comes with these pranks, these pranksters love to push boundaries when other people didn't ask for it. So pranks that can be mildly annoying just can straight out be outright reckless. I mean, we've seen pranksters fake crimes, trespass in restricted areas, even stage fake emergencies that truly do put people at risk. And I am going to show an example because this is the first one that I want to lead into. And I just think that prank culture has kind of gained a sense of entitlement in a way. What I mean by that is a lot of these influencers like to treat the world as their own personal playground, and they just feel like people have to owe them a good reaction so they can be a good sport for being a victim of their prank when they don't owe these so-called wannabe influencers jack shit. So when the pranks don't go the pranksters' way, they get to be kind of hostile, and then they'll just blame their victims instead of taking accountability and responsibility for their actions. I want to share a video with you that happened 2 years ago in Florida where an 11-year-old girl dialed 911 and created up a fake scene. The video was a little long, but I do want to make some commentary throughout the video, so I might stop and talk and, we'll keep watching because there's so much I want to say that came out of this video, and this one was just truly fucked up. And I do want to let you know that this girl did get the idea because of a YouTube prank. She saw it as a challenge, like a YouTube challenge, and this is what I'm talking about, how these pranksters are influencing our youth for the worse, and these kids are gonna think that doing shit like this is funny and okay. So let's get into this video right now.
July 26, 2023, dispatchers in Volusia County receive urgent 911 text from a driver who claims to be following an armed kidnapper's van on the interstate.
There was a 911 call?
Yeah, so somebody called in, they texted.
Sorry, I'm in my pajamas.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, you're fine.
Someone texted into 911 that someone was getting kidnapped and they were on the interstate, but then when they went and did like a location on the phone, the address was showing up here.
As their daughter Ava steps into the garage, her phone rings. The deputy answers it, leading to a shocking conclusion.
Hello? Hold on. Who's this?
Volusia County Sheriff's Office.
All right, cool. This is Deputy Asby, the Sheriff's Office.
Oh, good. You got her.
Yep. All right.
Oh, okay. Is her dad home?
Yep. I got both her parents here.
So that's a little introduction of what happens. I am going to fast forward a little bit through the video where we come to the conclusion that the girl gets caught and she admits it was her. This video is about 14 minutes long. I am going to speed it up for you even more just for the sake of time because I don't want this to be like the whole entire content of this video. But basically, they trace back the call to this girl's house and her phone. And so the parents are confused, are trying to understand what's going on. So they need to get their daughter, Ava, to go ahead and tell them what happened.
We showed up here like 2:10, 2:15.
Okay.
And we went to
but,
bed.
But these 911 calls.
For this
ow.
morning. You were calling 911? You were. Don't look surprised. You did. You
Did
did
you-
it on your phone.
Did they say anything to you? No one said anything to you?
Did you say, Ava, you have to explain what happened here. Something's going on. What did you know? What do you know?
Mikey, go inside. Ava, get your shoes on. Come out here.
I didn't hear anything. Call
You-
me a call.
Dad's telling their younger son, who's 7 years old, to go inside. We want to talk to Ava. So Ava's going to play dumb here. Just watch.
What's the door?
You're not in trouble. We just need to know what happened. I need to
Oh,
know
she's in
and understand
trouble.
because this is like weird.
Because we got to make sure that there's not somebody that's being kidnapped on the interstate and we're trying to find them. And all of
Open
a
your
sudden-
mouth if you said
Yeah.
something on the phone.
I didn't say anything,
Everything on your phone is telling me that you made a phone call on 911.
but I didn't talk.
While one deputy heads to her cruiser, she greets officers from the Port Orange Police Department who have just arrived at the scene.
So basically, this girl says, I didn't talk, but she ends up lying straight to her parents' face and the police. Just wait, because this just gets even better. I'm going to fast forward a little bit here.
An explanation. Deputies prepare to Mirandize the 11-year-old, who has yet to fully grasp the gravity of the situation.
You just lied to the police and mommy and daddy. You just lied to everybody.
You have 3 sheriffs here
Tell
on
them.
stupidity.
Tell them what you just said to us.
Open your mouth. I'm telling you, open your mouth.
She's going to read you something, and then we're going to ask you some questions. What's your name? Ava. How old are you, Ava?
All right, Miss Ava, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you in court. You have the right to talk to a lawyer for advice before we ask you any questions and to have the lawyer present during any questioning. If you cannot afford a lawyer, one will be appointed for you before my questioning if you wish.
We're reading her rights.
So they use the Miranda laws to an 11-year-old because guess what? This is an actual felony. When you call in a fake crime scene to 911, that is a felony. That is illegal. And this 11-year-old wasn't able to grasp this concept simply because, well, the YouTubers are doing it. I shouldn't get in trouble. No, I can guarantee you those YouTubers probably suffered some sort of consequences as well. Let's keep going.
Because you
She did not tell the truth.
Stupid.
Right.
Let me explain something here, okay? You can cry about this. What you've done here is a felony, okay? It's a felony crime, and you probably had 20 law enforcement officers at least, a helicopter, and all running with lights and siren on high speed to try to apprehend or try to stop a serious forcible felony from happening. Do you know what happens if one of those officers crashes and gets killed on the way to responding to something that you did as a joke? So you better take this serious.
Under pressure from both her father and the deputy, Ava offers an excuse for her actions, which doesn't sit well with the deputy.
Ava,
As it shouldn't.
you need to tell
As
the
it
exact
shouldn't.
truth. I don't want a
Oh,
story.
someone's gonna
I don't
get
care
it.
what it is. I want the exact.
So I'm gonna go to the part where she blames her little brother for this situation.
Yesterday, I beat my brother. Said something about my little brother. Just made me pop in the head, and then I ended up doing it today and doing all this. And
Was he part of planning this with you?
no, he just said it, and then
What did he say?
he said, "What's 911?" 911.
This is your brother?
Yeah, he said it yesterday.
You wanna get him?
What's 911?
Well, we can when we're done. Will you wait a minute?
And then
I love that this dad is like holding her accountable. It's so great. Because I feel like just videos that you see on the internet, the parent will just defend their child and just let them get away with their kids' shitty actions. I don't think these parents were bad parents at all. We'll talk a little bit more about this towards the end of this segment of the video. Yeah, let's just keep watching, sorry.
No, we can't. I have an idea this morning.
So you're trying to blame this on your brother?
You could ask him.
Did he was he with you when you made this call?
No.
Okay, was he with you when you made these texts?
No.
Okay, then you did this. You were on your own for this. And if your brother's 7 years old, you're not going to blame your 7-year-old brother for this.
Amen.
This was all your decision.
Deputies will
fast
soon
forward a little bit
discover the
more.
startling truth behind Ava's fabricated story. For now, Ava's mother raises concerns about recent questionable activity on Ava's phone, but it does little to impact the situation.
You know?
So I have something really weird with that phone. When we first got that, the phone kept ringing non-stop, ringing in to me. And I was picking it up and there was like people talking and like, I'm like, hello. And like non-stop, like, I mean, every 4 seconds there was a call coming in with random numbers and I didn't know them. And I was hitting block contact. Like as soon as we got that phone number,
Okay,
everyone's
well,
like
just said
this.
that has nothing to do with what went on today.
Questions about her intentions lead to a harsh reality check from the deputy, who forces Ava to consider the possible consequences of the false report.
What were you planning on happening out of this? Well, what
As
did
they
you think
should.
was going to happen when you said somebody was kidnapped and somebody had a gun? What did you think was going to happen? Well, did you have any thoughts about how much of the law enforcement resources in this area you were going to take up by doing that? I probably never thought of that, right? Did you think of the men and women that have families at home that are driving 90 or 100 miles an hour with their lights and siren on, trying to save somebody who's a victim of an armed kidnapping, that they could be involved in a traffic crash and be seriously injured or killed because you wanted to make a joke? Does that seem funny to you? Would that be funny if that happened? Because I can tell you that would be even more serious.
This is what these little kids do. They're like, well, it was just a joke. What was funny about this? Nothing is funny about this. You need to know something, that you should never ever prank dial 911. I remember when I was a kid, we had police officers come to our class all throughout elementary school in different grades, telling us about like what to do in emergency situations, like, you know, stop, drop, and roll, how to call 911, when you should only call 911, and the serious repercussions that can happen if you were to falsely dial 911 and report an emergency that didn't even happen. We learned all of that at a young age. Now, I can't speak for this girl's school, but I don't believe that these parents were shitty. It's clear that these parents just weren't aware of what's happening, because like you could be the best parent that you could possibly be, and sometimes your kids will still do stupid decisions on their own. I mean, I was raised as a good kid, but there were times where I did stupid things that truly wasn't a reflection on my parents' parenting choices and how they raised me. Sometimes kids are gonna mess up on their own and make their own decisions, because once they reach a certain age, they will have agency to do certain things. Sometimes kids are just going to be stupid, and it will be on the kid and not the parent. I just want to make that very clear. So let's keep going with this video.
Of what you're looking at right now.
You physically see your father walk up to sheriffs, military, everybody, thank you for your service. And then you do like this?
Though it wasn't captured on camera, reports state that Ava admitted to getting the idea to prank 911 from a YouTube challenge, and a deputy attempts to get more
And
details.
fast forward a little bit more so we can see what actually happened.
Based
to
on
the
Ava's
kid.
statements, deputies decide there's enough probable cause to arrest Ava and prepare to take the 11-year-old into custody.
I'm just saying this. He can't sit in a dentist's office, so that's why I'm saying
Deep breath.
Listen carefully. Don't make this. Don't make this.
You can talk to
She's
me.
gonna come out there. No, she'll be out there.
She is going to hurt herself right now.
She's not going to. Don't provide her.
What school does she go to?
So stop. Listen to me. What's your Ava? Ava. Stop struggling, okay? They're not going to hurt you. Yeah, they're not going to hurt you. Listen carefully what's going to happen here. No one's going to hurt you. You're going to sit in the car for now, okay? If you go somewhere,
Well, maybe, little girl, you shouldn't have done what you did, because what you did was commit a felony. And when little kids commit certain felonies, they actually can get arrested in certain situations, and this would be a prime example of that.
involved is taking pictures, taking fingerprints, and then they're going to call your parents to come and get you. So don't make the situation any worse. They'll be up shortly after that.
Go in the car?
No, you can't go in the car.
You can cuff me if you have to.
It just can't happen.
I'm telling you.
So we're gonna watch the end of this video now.
Warning you, you're not going to sit for a couple hours. They're going to be bringing you into a building, fingerprinting you, doing all sorts of stupid for your stupid. Your life just changed, kid. Over a phone call, your life just changed.
Minutes later, the reality of the situation continues to have an emotional impact on her parents.
This is the best punishment for her right now. Sucks for us, but this is the best thing for her because she's bouncing in
It
it.
sucks for us. I work my off with you to keep this kid doing stuff normal like we did as kids, and this is the she does.
According to a statement from the Volusia County Sheriff's Office, 11-year-old Ava was charged with making a false police report concerning the use of a firearm in a violent manner, a felony, and misuse of 911, a misdemeanor. After being processed at the Family Resource Center, she was later transferred to the Volusia Regional Juvenile Detention Center in Daytona Beach, Florida, an experience she is unlikely to forget. We requested more information about her case from the Volusia County Juvenile.
And she went to juvie. That is the end of that story, and that's just a prime example of what can happen to you if you make a false 911 report at a very young age. So if you're a teenager or a little kid watching this video, which I hope you're not watching this video because my channel is just certainly not meant for kids, but if you are watching this video, do not be an Ava. Do not do this. This is not funny. I don't care if other YouTubers are doing this and maybe they didn't face consequences. That doesn't mean that that's not going to happen to you. This is not funny. This is not harmless. This is stupid. Please, before you're like, it's just a prank, bro. It's just a prank, bro. Bro. Think about what happened here. This was not a staged event. This was not a skit. This was real. The police recorded this for their evidence to help them make a report and a claim. So, enough with the whole it was staged. I get there's a lot of fake shit that happens on the internet, but nothing about this was fake. This was all over the news. So, take that for what you will and stop looking up to these pranksters for stupid shit like this. Let's move on because I got another prank that really pisses me off. Earlier, I mentioned when opening up this video that there are so many pranksters that will go into retail stores and harass workers and mess with them when being a retail worker is already such a hard job. A prime example of TikTok prankster that's been coming up on my For You page, and I wish it would stop, is Heston James. So Heston James, I don't know how old he is, but he's certainly giving Gen Z vibes. He will go into stores and with some friends of his, and he will scream stupid shit and make it loud enough for the employees to hear. He just harasses the shoppers and the workers, and he just thinks he's so funny. And he's also really good at gaslighting these employers, being like, yo, it wasn't me, I heard it from over there. And then he'll have like backup screamers so he can gaslight the workers who are trying to do their job and try to make it seem like he's innocent, and they go back and forth. And these stupid kids on the internet in Heston's comment sections are like, bro, this is so funny, bro. If you take a look at the comments and see how people are defending this, finding it funny, and they use the word bro, or they're using a bunch of like internet language, and they say, be so FR, like be so for real, and they use a bunch of just like brain rot slang, that goes to show you that these are teenagers, kids, maybe early 20-something-year-olds who are in these comment sections who simply just do not fucking get it. No mature, sane, critical thinking adult finds this funny. Only the idiot kids who don't know any better and don't understand the repercussions of these actions are the ones who are defending this shit. And what's made it worse about Heston James is that he's inspired other male prank creators to do the same thing that he does, but they'll go in with like an Aztec death whistle that makes a screaming sound, and there have been so many store employees who yell at them and they get caught and they are asked to leave the store, and then they will try to call these people Karens when they're not being Karens. Nothing about this is funny. If you think this is funny, you are an immature person who needs to grow up. And honestly, these pranks, as I mentioned, are not funny. They're simply a disruption to the public. It's annoying and inconsiderate. As I mentioned, retail workers already have a stressful job as is. They put up with so much shit for such little pay. And throwing people in the mix just screaming in stores for no reason just makes their job that much harder. Plus, can you imagine how unsettling it must be for shoppers, especially those who have sensory needs or who are young children or even elderly adults? I cannot even imagine. When we call like retail workers acting like Karens or they're taking their jobs way too seriously for such a low wage, that doesn't matter. That's irrelevant. They're doing their jobs. They don't have time for young kids bullshit. So only the young kids are the ones defending this stuff. It's not funny. Grow up. Another common prank that I do see a lot on social media are drive-through pranks. They're just as bad and annoying, but basically you'll have some pranksters go through the drive-thru to mess around with the fast food employees. It could be something as like throwing things at the workers, pretending to pass out, having one of their buddies steal their food out of their hand as the worker is passing it on to the customer, or just flat out act completely unhinged just to get their reaction. Imagine being a drive-thru worker just trying to do their job and some idiot influencer decides that they have to be a part of their viral YouTube moment. Just like retail workers, fast food employees already have to deal with so much at such little pay, and they don't deserve to get treated by dumb teenagers and pranksters doing things just for the sake of views and engagement. They didn't ask to put up with this. They didn't ask to be a prop of your video. And I'm kind of tired of YouTubers and TikTokers treating these people as such. And then the last type of prank that I see on social media, which I think to be like some of the worst of the worst, are the couple prank videos. And I'm not talking like harmless pranks where they'll pop out of a corner and be like, boo! I'm talking about ones where they are destroying something that a partner loves, or you have like the fake cheating pranks. Oh my god, I cannot stand those. I think a lot of these couple prank videos are just really borderline toxic. They're not funny, and I think they're kind of abusive in some way. We see what could be as harmless jokes as ways to humiliate your partner, make them cry, and mess with their trust, all just for views and engagement. It's disgusting. I hate seeing the fake cheating pranks. I hate them. Why would you even think it's funny to make your partner believe that you're cheating on them? Do you have any idea like how emotionally manipulative that is? It's not a joke. There's nothing funny about causing emotional distress just for the sake of, it was just a funny, I'm not cheating on you. Like, there's nothing funny about that. Then there are ones who will destroy items. Like, I've seen videos of men ruining their partner's makeup, and I'm just thinking, all for what? What was the purpose of destroying somebody's makeup? Destroying somebody's personal property that they love? There's nothing funny about that. What was the joke? What's the prank in that? What were you trying to gain out of that? Imagine working so hard for something with your hard-earned money for expensive items only for your partner to just completely ruin it for the sake of clout. It's disgusting. And I don't even care if the partner ends up buying new stuff for them anyways. That's not the point. I don't care if their makeup's expired. That still doesn't give you the right to touch somebody's stuff and mess with it for the sake of funnies. Then I've seen the pregnancy pranks where people pretend to be pregnant and freak their partner out. I just think it's beyond messed up. And it can be incredibly insensitive to people who are actually dealing with miscarriages or infertility issues. It's just really crazy that these videos have become so normalized to think that this is what a healthy relationship should look like when there's nothing healthy about this. Healthy relationships are built on trust and respect, not making your partner suffer for your stupid content for social media. Yeah, I was pretty angry about that. But at the end of the day, y'all, what I just want you to take away from this video is that pranks should be funny for everybody involved. Not just the person pulling off the prank, or not just for the viewer who is watching the prank unfold on social media. If a joke comes out to someone else's expense where it scares them or it's just flat out disruptive in people's lives, I don't find that to be a prank. I find that to be very selfish. Just remember that real humor doesn't require you to be cruel to others. That's it. That's the video. I'm curious to know, what are your thoughts on internet prank culture? Are there any internet pranks that you see that you cannot stand that maybe I missed? Comment down below and let me know. If you liked this video, do make sure you give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!